Jenny Bilhage, and like Dr. Tallis said, I'm principal at West Elementary. We're very excited to have you here tonight as we introduce our kindergarten and beginnergarten teachers, talk a little bit about our programming and curriculum, and talk about the registration process. Okay. So we do have people live here tonight, but we're missing one of our teachers. I wanted to have you meet our team. We have Mrs. Combs, Mrs. Brown, Mrs. Debs, Mrs. Red, Mrs. Thibodeau, Mr. Stewart, and Miss Combs. We are very excited at Imlay City that we are able to offer two choices in our programming for kindergarten. We have beginnergarten and traditional kindergarten. And I'm going to turn it over to our two beginnergarten teachers to have them talk to you a little bit about what is beginnergarten. So we have Mrs. Red up first.
Actually, I'm up first. My name is Jacqueline Debs, and I teach beginnergarten, one of the classes. And beginnergarten is for kindergarten age students. It's especially good for those younger kids who are 4 years old, but turning 5 into the fall. The kindergarten expectation is that they enter kindergarten knowing about 40 letters. So times have changed, you know, kindergarten is not exactly, it's no longer the place where they just learn letters. They're actually beginning to read. So if you feel your child is not ready and needs some extra time to learn their letters, then beginnergarten may be the place for you. Beginnergarten is a stepping stone between preschool and kindergarten. There's no state mandated curriculum, so that leaves us with the luxury of developing a curriculum to meet the needs of our students. And the additional year also allows your child to grow emotionally, academically, and socially.
All right, I'm sorry, Mrs. Debs, I thought Mrs. Red was going first. So now we'll have Mrs. Red.
Hello, I am Mrs. Red, and some of you may be wondering how beginnergarten and kindergarten differ. So beginnergarten is not intended to replace kindergarten. Think of it as a prequel to kindergarten. It's a good beginning. It's an extra year for students to develop at their own pace while still having the experience of real school. Students are further along with added benefits of an entire year of discovering through play while learning their letters, their numbers, their sounds, and so on.
Thank you. So when we're looking at your child entering, whether it's beginnergarten or kindergarten, we're looking at the balanced child. So we are here to help with their social, emotional, physical, and academic growth. Up next, we have Mrs. Thibodeau, who's going to take you through an example of a typical day in kindergarten. Oh, Mrs. T, you are still muted. You're going to have to unmute so we can hear you.
Can you see me now?
We can hear you. Yep.
Okay. I didn't know if you could hear me. I'm going to take you through an example of a daily schedule. Our students arrive here in the building at 8:50 a.m. And once they arrive, typically they will head down to the cafeteria for breakfast. This year, being due to state mandates with COVID, etc., we've been having breakfast in our classroom. So the students come directly to our classroom. They enjoy a breakfast provided by our cafeteria. And then we begin our day around 9 o'clock, 9:10. Mrs. Bilhage comes on and begins, starts us off with announcements and our pledges, that type of thing. And then most of us go into a reading and an ELA block, which is about a 90 minutes. That includes our phonics with your letters, sounds, sight words, reading, the strategies, writing, etc. And then as the day progresses, we also have lunch, and with their lunch, it is included a recess time with them, and they're out there about, between lunch, they're about 30 minutes or so, maybe a little bit longer, probably closer to 40 to 50 there. And then we come in, we have writing, and each teacher's day fluctuates a little bit when they place their curriculum or their core standards. Writing is about 60 minutes. Obviously, in the beginning, it's not as long as we're working on penmanship and that type of thing. We have media and technology. Currently, every student is provided with a Chromebook here in the classroom, and they get on that, and we do what's called Path Lasers, which is a reading and a math reinforcement. We do STEAM, which is science, technology, math, art, and engineering in there, with a little bit of a hands-on type of situation. And again, as you can see, lunch and recess is in there. We do have a second recess during our day, and then each classroom has art twice a week, gym twice a week, and then music once a week. And then that flips in the winter to springtime. So our day is pretty filled. They leave the day at 3:40. We depart, and we keep them moving. We're hopping all the time. Lots of transitions.
Thank you. Up next, we're going to have Miss Combs talk a little bit about expectations for your child in the area of reading.
Hello, this is Miss Combs. I just am here to talk to you a little bit about what reading looks like in kindergarten. We practice reading in a lot of different ways. We do some shared reading, which is we share the roles with the students, and we read some, they read some, they do partner reading, different things like that. We do a lot of read alouds where they're sitting whole group on the carpet. We're reading, a book that goes along with the season, the holiday coming up, different things like that. A lot of read alouds. We do use Wonders, the Wonders reading curriculum, which has all these different types of things in it. Then we do guided reading, which this includes a lot of small group work, which like you see in the picture with Mr. Stewart, we work with groups one-on-one, 3 to 4 kids in a group just on different skills, whether it be letters, sounds, sight words, different things like that. Then independent reading, we talk about the expectations, and we work on a lot of reading stamina with helping them get to a DRA 4, which I'll talk about on the next slide. And then this also hits on phonemic awareness skills, which include rhyming, hearing the sounds in words, beginning and ending sounds, all the things like that. So our hope is that your child is able to identify 40 capital and lowercase letters and know some sounds before coming into kindergarten, which the BK teachers also mentioned previously. And then students are expected to be reading at a DRA 4 by the end of kindergarten. And the next couple slides will show you what a DRA 4 looks like. Students are expected to be able to read the story with few to none errors, be able to retell the story, answer questions about the story, and make connections from the story to their real life. This is what it looks like. Usually it's 2 lines, there's sight words in there. There's not as much of a pattern in a DRA 4. So this is what it looks like.
Thank you. Okay, up next we have Mrs. Combs to introduce you to what will be expected from your child in terms of writing.
Hello, I'm Mrs. Combs, and I'm going to talk about writing. Writing in kindergarten begins with drawing pictures to tell our stories. We move into interactive writing, shared writing, and independent writing. Students participate in what we call a writer's workshop model. The teacher starts with a whole group mini lesson up on the carpet, and then students have independent writing time to practice those skills that are taught. Writing at the beginning of the year looks very different from what it does at the end of the year. And we kind of hit on that with the writing time Mrs. Thibodeau did. When we're writing at the beginning of the year, our independent time may be 10, 15 minutes at the max. We're not writing words, we're not writing sounds, we're drawing pictures. By the end of the year, and even now we're into March, our students' independent time is up to 35, 45 minutes. And it is amazing to see the progress they make. They are writing sentences. We have students that can write 5 or 6 sentences by the end of the year. So it's pretty cool. Writer's workshop ends with author's chair, where students get the opportunity to share their writing pieces. And then finally, students also practice handwriting, and this goes on throughout the year. They learn proper letter formation for both uppercase and lowercase letters.
Thank you. Mrs. Brown is going to talk to you a little bit about math now.
Hi, I'm Amy Brown. I'm going to talk to you about our Envision Math program here at Weston. We go through different topics, and the topics include things like reading, writing, and counting numbers. different shapes, both 2D and 3D shapes, patterning with shapes and with numbers, and problem solving. Our Envision series will take the kids through small group activities where they can do some things on their own that you see the kids working on in our picture. They get a video component where they get to learn it with a little fun video. Then they get to go and do some guided practice with the teacher and some independent practice on their own. By the end of the year, kindergartners are expected to do the following things. Count to 100 with no mistakes, skip counting by 5s and 10s to 100, both simple addition and subtraction with numbers to 10, recognizing numbers 0 to 20 in and out of order, write their numbers 0 to 20 with little to no reversals, and recognize the 2D and 3D shapes.
Thank you. So I know our teachers already touched on this, but we have some examples of learning centers. Students have a time for exploration in all subject areas. It gives them an opportunity for small group work with the teacher. And of course, they love to use blocks, puzzles, games, manipulatives, and dramatic play to aid in their learning. This was mentioned as well, our STEAM time. Again, hands-on activities to explore topics in the areas of science, technology, engineering, art, as well as math. We do have a variety of specials offered at Weston Elementary. As mentioned before, our students do each have a Chromebook, and they're able to have technology time within the classroom, whether it's a supplement to a lesson they're learning or additional extension activities. We have a library with a wide array of books for students to check out. They enjoy going down there. And a science lab, so hands-on science experiments and projects that students can be engaged in. In addition to these, we also have the 3 specials that were mentioned that students attend every week, which include gym, art, and music. Okay, now we're getting into some of the things you may be wondering about in terms of what do I need to do in order to have my child be ready, and what do I need to do in terms of kindergarten registration. So before school begins in the fall, we ask that a physical exam and a dental exam, these are highly recommended. Your immunizations for your child must be up to date, and vision screening is required. And I'll talk more about the kindergarten registration process, but hearing and vision screening will be offered here at Weston during that process. Another question that comes up is kindergarten entry age. So legislation in Michigan states the entry age for kindergarten for this school year is at least 5 years of age by September 1st. We do have a waiver option if your child will be 5 on or before December 1st, and you would like them enrolled, you will have to complete a waiver, and that will be provided for you during the registration process. Okay, kindergarten registration, what does it entail? In years past, it was just paper pencil registration, but we are happy to offer online enrollment, and that is open anytime. So you can go ahead and start that tonight or moving forward. And the online registration forms can be found at our school website, icschools.us. If you click on Weston Elementary, there is a tab for enrollment. It's a very simple form, walks you right through the steps. Once you click submit, that is sent directly to the Weston office, and you will be all set in terms of the enrollment forms. If you prefer the paper forms, they are available beginning next week, starting Monday, March 8th. In the Weston office, you can come to the office, ring the doorbell, and we can bring those out to you. Either way is acceptable. They're going to contain the same information. After the enrollment forms are completed, the next step is going to be meeting here at Weston Elementary. We have 2 evenings for your convenience. The first one is Monday, March 15th, and the second night is Thursday, March 18th. You only need to choose one night. You do not attend both. The times are offered from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m., and this is by appointment only. So you will need to call the Weston Elementary office to schedule your appointment. And again, you can start doing that tomorrow. Appointments will run approximately 10 to 15 minutes. We are able to have 2 families at the same time because we will have you spaced out and have both secretaries helping you. So what do you need to bring with you during that time? You need to bring your child for screening, obviously, so please bring your child with you. If you are opting to complete paper enrollment forms, those will need to be returned on that evening. Again, if you have done the online forms, there is no need to print those off and bring those with you. We will receive those electronically. We will need your original birth certificate. We will make a copy of that and then return the original to you. In addition to that, we will make a copy of your photo ID and your child's immunization record to date. During that time frame, while you are filling out papers and turning things in, your child is going to meet with a Weston teacher, one of the people you met tonight, one-on-one without you. And they're going to do a screening. And this just provides us a glimpse of your child. The teacher will provide results to you when the screening is finished, but because we have a tight time frame and many appointments, we will not have time to meet with you to go over those results. However, if you do have questions, do not hesitate to make an appointment with myself by calling the office, or even that evening, we can schedule an appointment. We can go over those results if you'd like to talk more about them. So what does kindergarten screening for your child actually entail? Some things we're looking for is personal data, color recognition, their picture vocabulary, visual discrimination, can they follow verbal directions, rote counting, can your child identify body parts? We're looking at number concepts, as well as gross and visual motor skills. As I mentioned before, we do have a school website, icschools.us. Again, if you want specific information to Weston, click under schools, go to Weston, and we have a variety of information. And again, that's where you can find your online enrollment forms. We also have a Facebook page. This keeps you updated with happenings and things that are going on within the school. So go ahead and like us on Facebook. And you can also download the Imlay City Schools app. That's something you're going to want to use once your child is enrolled to get additional information. Okay, I am now very excited to have you learn more about the LEAF program. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this over to Mrs. Ann Konarski.
Thank you, Principal Buhaley. So my name is Ann Konarski, and I am here representing the LEAF program, which stands for Lapeer County Education Attainment Fund. It's a partnership between the Lapeer County Community Foundation, the Intermediate School District, Elga Credit Union, and of course, your school, Weston Elementary, as well as all of the other elementary schools in Lapeer County. So what it is that every kindergartner will get a education savings account and will automatically get $25 put into that account. It is an account that can be used for any training and education after your child graduates from high school. So we all know that there is a lot of things that kids want to do. They want to work in construction, they want to be police officers, they want to be a nurse, and all of those types of careers take some sort of trade school or apprenticeship or college education after they graduate from high school. And so we are not just telling your child that this is a good idea and they should do it. We're actually putting our money where our mouth is. So this partnership between these people, they've put together the money that your child will automatically get this savings account. And there is a lot of other opportunities for additional dollars to be put in, along with 3 to 4 times a year, the superhero called Money Marvel will come into the school and into the classroom, and she will teach your child about money and financial literacy, and your child will have an opportunity to deposit money into their own account. So let's say that you take a quarter out of the piggy bank that they'll get through the program, and you send them to school with that quarter or that dollar or $5 or whatever it is. They can actually make a deposit into their own savings account right at that time in their classroom. So we want you and your child to know that the community believes in your child, and the Community Foundation is funding this initiative. We're promoting education and training beyond high school, and we're teaching children about money. So don't worry that I might have said a lot of things and you think, oh my gosh, how am I going to remember all of this? Because every child will bring home not only a piggy bank in it may be the fall, it may be closer to December, but they'll also bring home what we call a parent packet with more information. Just know that this is an automatic enrollment. There isn't anything that you have to do. Your child will automatically get this bank savings account at Elga Credit Union, and you'll hear more about it in the fall once you start school. So thank you very much, Principal Buell Haley, for allowing me to be here.
Thank you. We appreciate it. It is a wonderful program and the kids really enjoy it. Okay, I'm going to go over some common questions, some things you may be wondering that we haven't already touched upon. First off, what are the regular school hours? School begins at 9 o'clock and ends at 3:40. How will my child get meals? Of course, you're free to send in a lunch for your student, but we also offer free breakfast and lunch as well within our cafeteria. As we stated before, breakfast we do eat in the classroom. What about transportation? Every student will be assigned a bus if you live in district. You may also choose to drive your child to and from school. Just so you know, we do have a hand-to-hand busing policy for kindergartners, which means that you will need to be there to get your child on and off of the bus. And again, this is for your student safety. What are the school drop-off and pickup procedures? Front doors will be unlocked for students to enter at 8:50. Once they come into the building, they head directly to their classroom. And like I stated, they eat breakfast. At the end of the day, if you are picking your child up at the end of the day, you will wait outside until your child's teacher delivers your child to you. Currently, parents are not permitted in the building due to COVID restrictions. Who is my child's teacher? Well, you've met many of the teachers here tonight. Your child will be assigned a teacher, and in August before school starts, you'll receive a packet in the mail with important information, and in that packet, we will notify you of who your child's teacher will be. Will there be an orientation? Yes, you'll receive more information on that at a later date before school starts. What school supplies will my child need? We will send you a list of recommended supplies in that fall packet, and a list can also be found currently on our website. So if you want to kind of get a sneak peek, you can look at that. We're kind of in the season right now. I think we're transitioning to spring finally, but what happens if school's canceled due to weather? So parents will be notified by our school messenger system, which is something we'll have you sign up for. We also notify parents through radio and television stations. One of the quickest ways is to opt in through text messaging. And again, we will send you all of this information in that packet, so you can be sure to sign up. I cannot believe to look at this date, but your child is going to be part of the class of 2034. And let me tell you, if you think that's a long way off, blink and it's over. It's going to go by so quickly, but we are so excited to welcome your child to Weston Elementary, to Imlay City Schools. Like I said, it's going to be here before you know it. We are here every step of the way to walk you through the registration process. I know it can be confusing, it can be overwhelming, and if this is your first child or even your last child entering school, it can be very sad too, to see them grow up and start school. But we are here to help you. We will answer any questions you have tonight. If you are feeling overwhelmed with all of this information, don't worry. Like we said, this is recorded. You'll be able to go back and view it again. If something pops up, next week, the week after, feel free to call our office to reach out. We are here to help and answer any questions that you may have. So we appreciate your attendance tonight. I'm going to turn it back over to Dr. Tallis so she can let me know if there have been any questions that have popped up during the presentation.
Can you hear me,
Yes,
Mrs.
I can.
Buhake? All right, we have had some great questions come up. One of the questions was when you were talking about the registration process, does that include beginnergarten? Do beginnergartners come in for screenings?
No, your beginnergartner is already a student here. They are all set. They are registered. There is no need to go through any of the process that I spoke about. So they are all set.
But students who want to enroll in beginnergarten should come in for that.
Yes. So if your child has not started school yet, when I say kindergarten, I'm talking about beginnergarten as well.
So one of the questions is two-part. The first part was, does the student and parents get to meet the teacher before the first day of school? So typically we do have open houses, not to speak for you, of course, but this year was a little bit different because of the COVID-19 restrictions. And that is something that as a district, as those regulations and parameters change from the state of Michigan, we will make those determinations regarding what that actually looks like as we get near to August, when that typically would be. Is there anything else you want to add on that particular part of the question?
No, like I said, that, you know, when we get closer to school starting, we will reach out to our incoming families and let them know how it's going to go.
The second part of that question was, this individual filled out the kindergarten registration. Do I need to resubmit it, or will I be receiving a call to set up a time to bring in the required documentation?
So if you already went online and filled out the enrollment form and submitted it, we have received that. We do have some people who already did that. We still ask that you call the office to set up your appointment time.
Another great question. If my child is attending the early learning program now, will any of the records from there be transferred over? For example, their birth certificates or documents, other documents that don't change?
We will ask, even if you're attending, whether it's childcare or a preschool program, we do ask that you still complete the enrollment form, whether it's paper or online. We can take a look at what we have. Typically, we do like to keep things fresh and make new copies of everything. So I think we'll have to take that on a case-by-case basis.
Can twins be in the same classroom?
Absolutely.
Do preschoolers have to sign up?
Yes, if you're currently in a preschool program, you're registered through preschool, but you are not registered in our kindergarten or beginnergarten program. So yes, you still have to sign up.
Are you able to request a teacher and or request for two students to be in the same class?
We typically don't do requesting for two students to be in the same class. I mean, the twins question is a little bit different. That's within the same family. We do have teacher request forms that come out in May that you can fill out and drop off at the school, and we'll take a look at those.
There's a couple of questions about individuals who have been on the website and cannot find the registration forms. So I'm thinking about putting the link in the chat box, Mrs. Buellhage, so that they can click it right away. So from the Weston page, is it under enrollment?
It is. And actually, I'm going to share my screen again, and I can walk people.
Oh, perfect.
I can walk them through that.
Perfect.
Well, I say that, and now hang on.
I can see your screen.
Can you see the website?
Yep.
Okay. So this is the Imlay City Schools website, icschools.us. Along this blue bar up here, if you go to schools and you go down to Weston Elementary, you're going to go to enrollment. Click on that, and it just has some information about documentation. But if you click on the blue link, online enrollment form, this will be the registration form, the Google Doc that you will fill out. It looks long, but a lot of it's multiple choice questions. So that is how you go through that. So again, you start out, go to schools, Weston Elementary, enrollment, click on the online enrollment tab.
Perfect. And I did put the link in the chat box just for ease of access.
Thank you.
My daughter is turning 5 on September 21st. Will she be kindergarten or beginnergarten?
Kindergarten and beginnergarten options are offered to you, and that is a decision you need to make. So that is something you need to look at your child's birth date and then decide if you think they would be a better fit for beginnergarten or for kindergarten.
Can we bring a younger child with us to our meeting time?
If you do not have daycare options, yes, you may do that.
I want to make sure that I heard this right. My son currently is in kindergarten right now, so I am all set and I do not have to do any of the enrollment paperwork or screenings, correct?
Correct.
I think I filled out the enrollment form already. How will I know if I did?
If you give our office a call, we can confirm whether or not we received it.
Mrs. Bullhage, maybe I can put the phone number also in the chat box so people can either add it to their phone if they're viewing this from their phone or write it down.
That would be
That will be 810-724-981-2. Yes, this will take you to the Weston office. All right, as of right now, I do not see any more questions in my question box, or I know we had a couple come through the chat, but I think we've got to them all.
I did see one about a sign up sheet. I don't know if the person was referring to the registration nights. So again, if you give our office a call, we will let you choose a time within that 5 to 7 p.m. time frame on either of those dates. So there's no online sign up. That's just going to be a phone call, and we'll verify over the phone with you.
Thanks for catching that one. Yeah. We did have a question about if it was possible for beginnergarteners to skip kindergarten and go right to first grade. And if that is a question you have, I really encourage you to talk directly to your child's beginnergarten teacher and Mrs. Bullhage. And then that way we can look at all of the relative information and make the best decision for your child for sure. All right, we'll give you just a couple more seconds in case you're typing in the box now to see if we have any other questions come up. As Mrs. Bullhage said, we're all here to answer any questions. I'm sure you'll probably think of questions as soon as we end the meeting here, but feel free to email or call Weston and we can help you get all of your questions answered.
Absolutely.
What are those registration dates again?
The 15th and 18th of March. So a Monday and a Thursday. And again, you only need to show up for one of those dates, 5 to 7 p.m.
And you can give that phone number we posted a call and they can help make sure to get you time on one of those dates. That was 724-9812. I see a question came in through the chat box. My daughter is turning 5 on December 5th. Will she be allowed to go to kindergarten?
Again, if your child will be 5 on or before December 1st, you need to have the waiver. We have the kindergarten.
So December 5th, I think.
Oh, I'm sorry, December 5th.
That falls out of the.
That falls out of that date range, yes.
We do have wonderful preschool programs, Teresa. So please still give Weston a call and we'll make sure to get your daughter into whatever programming she's eligible for. All right, we did have a couple more questions pop up. If my child can't read yet, should he go to kindergarten or beginnergarten?
Well, most kids entering are not necessarily reading when they start, whether it's beginnergarten or kindergarten. We're working on letters and letter sounds right away. So again, that's going to be a personal decision. We certainly can talk to you individually about that when you're here for the registration process.
The screener will definitely help provide
Yes.
more information to make that decision about that initial placement and if the additional year in beginnergarten will be helpful. Where would we get the waiver?
The waiver is not online. We will provide that for you when you come in person for the registration.
And then we had a question about where would the video be available to watch? That's a great question. So after we end this video, it has to go through some processing. And as soon as that processing is complete, we'll be able to put it on our district YouTube channel. That will be posted on the website and we'll also get it posted on the social media pages. So not only the Weston Facebook page, but I'll be able to post it on our district Facebook page too. So as soon as it's ready, it'll be posted on our website and on Weston and the Imlay City Schools Facebook page. All right, I think that wraps us up. Oh, there's one more question just popped in. Is after and before school latchkey offered, and is that something that is handled at registration or part of enrollment? Really good question.
Yes. So yes, we do have after school as well as before school latchkey. And that is not something that you need to do as part of your enrollment, but we certainly can provide you with that information when you do come to registration.
All right, well, thank you everyone for joining us tonight, both our families and our staff. It's hard to believe that date for our incoming kindergartners. You're right, Mrs. Buhege, but it's certainly a very exciting time for your child and your families. So we look forward to seeing them in our school building, walking down the halls and joining our Spartan family. We will get this video processed right away and posted for reference so that you can share if you happen to know anybody who wasn't able to come tonight. On that, though, I will end this meeting and thank you all again.